season? Even though
I don't know if I'm there yet. Still feels very disappointing. Yeah, sure. I'll definitely try to get with you guys maybe here in the next couple of days.
David, as you look at areas for the team to improve, one-run record in one-run game, close games, how can you guys improve on that, year over year? Do you think that's a skill?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just training. Maybe do a better job of training, getting guys in from third, less than 2 outs. I can, there's other ways to add squeeze plays, safety squeeze, little things like that you're looking at. I think it's just the little details, right? It's like the little things that, we grew from a little bit last year and did better, but we still got to make the plays in the big moments, come through with, one run here or there. It's not just in September either. It's in May and it's in other months where we have to capitalize and not take anything for granted and find ways to get over the margins.
When you look back at the job you did this year, where do you think you can improve as far as being a manager?
I think I've got a lot of areas to improve, whether it's, I think there's a long list of areas where I can improve. I think that's to sit down and talk to my coaches, talk to the front office, areas where, I think other people see your shortcomings more than you do, and maybe, I'm going to try to evaluate when I have conversations with others, with players, different things in the offseason about what I can do better, and continue to listen to the feedback and try to grow.
What do you think you improved on this year from last year?
We've improved on it a lot. I think we were much more consistent as an offensive group. I think defensively we were better than we were last year. I think our base running, we don't have, I think, our highest sprint speed in all of baseball is probably Master Boney at 109. We stole a lot of bases this year for a team that doesn't have a lot of team speed. I think the culture of training to win and pushing and learning from what's going to be characterized as a bad month was a very eye-opening moment where we have to still get better, and we got to make plays in the moment. We got to make plays that matters. We got to come through with at bats and do the little things to get runs in when it matters. And then we have another month to play. We can talk about mental fatigue, physical fatigue, whatever that is, but championship caliber teams still have another month left to play. We're not there yet. So, no, go ahead. I'd rather be cut off. It's good.
Major League managers were done no favors by Major League Baseball when they took away expanding rosters from pitching. How much more difficult is it to navigate through a September for managers now, and also consider taking care of guys and winning baseball games? Seems like very difficult for everybody.
Well, you just I think the challenge is the 6 months and how hard that is. I think that's the great thing about our game. It's not play once a week and get, it's not, play twice a week. It's a sport that you play every single day for 6 to 8 months when you're talking about spring training as well. So I think that's the challenge, is just that's where you have to be good in the margins and the little details, and being able to keep guys rested, and the deeper and the more guys that are trusted in the big moments, and the guys have to continue to get better. So we're just a more complete team.
David, how much do you need Cody Bellinger next year to be the team you want to have, and how much, how hard would he be to replace if you don't have him?
Yeah, Cody's been extremely important for our success this year, for sure. I think anybody could admit that. He carried us, especially there in the middle of the summer. He put us on his back, probably hands down. I don't know the league, but hands down, it's got to be comeback player of the year, right? One of the guys that just had some adversity the last couple of years, came back. That season he had for us this year was really important to our success, and he went out, identified some areas he wanted to get better, and did a really nice job of identifying those and coming out proving what he's worth. So happy for him, happy for us. I think he likes it here. We like having him here, and he was really important to our year, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue of like was Cody Bellinger important to our success this year? Sure. Every player that had a really good year has to come back and prove it next year. I think we love Cody. I think he likes it here. He set himself up, him and his family, for a real good opportunity. And like, if we don't have him here, it's going to be on somebody else to produce, right? I mean, we need production. That's what you need. You need a complete team. You need to get better every single year. But there's no doubt Cody's been very important to our success this year.
Look at Steele's body of work. What impressed you the most over the course of the season, or stood out to you the most about what you guys got from him this year?
I think the consistency stood out to me. Like, it was, as good of a body of work as I've seen from a managing standpoint. Just goes back up there, like maybe Darvish when I was managing. There were signs of being able on that season with Jake Arrieta. Like, there's just like, there's been some really consistent performances from a starter that you need to be in a position to win games. And he was that guy for us. Stroh early on, Smiley early on, J-Mo at the back end. Like, there's a lot of, ups and downs when it comes to that. I think Steele was probably our most consistent pitcher and had a really, really nice season.
How important is it for next year to get more of that consistency throughout the rotation? You just talked about the up and down nature of it.
Yeah, we've got to. I mean, that's baseball, right? I talk all the time about what's the most important thing. It's like, what can we trust? What can you rely on? How hard it is to be consistent. I think like the work, Steele in particular, the work he did in the offseason allowed him to be strong throughout the year. You got to do that again, right? And then we got to do it again. And then then you add up a career like a John Lester or whoever, those names, those household names that you hear all the time. You got to put in the work again. What's so disappointing about such a fun group and a team that overcame a lot of odds with their back against the wall and a very resilient group is that it doesn't mean anything. And I think continue to feel that in our work in the off season is important, but also knowing it was a really fun team and a group that took another step forward from last year. So I think that's the main thing that I think we all have to take away is like, we're going to start fresh at 0-0 next year. Doesn't matter what kind of year you had this year. Yeah, he's a big time player for me and a winner, and he's a leader in the clubhouse, off the field, helping guys grow, helping the coaching staff. He's just a very liked person and player. He had a really nice season that I don't know anybody was expecting. I thought he felt like he got the biggest hits and the biggest moments for us a lot this year. So I'm so thankful we've had him on the team.
I just want to ask you how you came through it. September grind you down much?
Yeah, I mean, losing sucks. I mean, but we're in this thing together. I don't think, like, I was grinding just like the guys. Like, we're rolling these guys out there every single day, playing their tails off, making mistakes, picking each other up, trying to come back the next day with a winning attitude and a preparation. We're all in this together. You feel good when you win, and it sucks for all of us when we lose.
Let's see. What do you think? Say at second year, started with the injury and out of starting lineup in summer, and then last 2 months is very good.
There's a lot of guys to be proud of, I think, on this team. Especially when we talk about some of the ones that overcame some adversity, and say as one of those that hit a bump in the road this year in the middle and picked himself up and carried us down the stretch. He was our best performing player down the stretch, and we wouldn't have been this close if it wasn't for the at bats that he had. And once when he came back and started playing consistently, he's a big part of our future. He's a really good player, and we look up at the end of the year and look at his stats. They're right up there with Cody, who you feel like carried us as well a lot this year. So great offensive performance. He got better on defense. We're going to expect big things out of him coming into next year for sure. Proud of him.
Like Cody or not, do you get the sense from like Jed and Tom that getting a taste of winning here in this building process will kind of spur the organization to go big again this offseason and take some swings to get to that next step?
Honestly, like we've been so wrapped up in winning. I haven't had next year conversations with Jed or Tom, so like I don't want to speak out of turn on that. But I think we all can agree as disappointing as this season is and has been. There's another step forward that was taken this year, closer to winning. Good experience that was learned down the stretch, and understanding like big time players have to step up in the moments throughout the season, and it takes everybody. The minor leaguers have to continue to get better and grow. We're going to need depth out of them, and young guys took a step forward. I thought Morrell was a better version of himself this year. We'll continue to grow. Love what Amaya's done, being up here, learning in this environment, and a lot of guys. Assad, like I can go with Wicks, like go on and on with the young guys that are going to be able to help us in the future. But also, we had a good mix this year of veteran guys that performed, and we're going to need those guys too.
When you look at the rotation and just all the guys who contributed to that group, like, how do you feel going into the next year, regardless of what pieces might move?
Next year. I haven't, assessed. Like I said, there's a lot of really good. Like Adbert is a nice story. Mark Leiter came out of nowhere. Julian Merriweather, we get back, who was a rock. Jose Quas was really good in picking him up. We need Keegan. We were relying on Keegan this year, had a down year. We need him to bounce back. Wicks, Assad already said. There's some really good performances from young guys in the rotation. We're gonna have Smiley back, and all the guys, Steely, J-Mo, more comfortable, and he pitched well at the end. Hopefully, he can carry that into next year, being really consistent. Kyle Hendricks, phenomenal, right? Like that story for me is one of my favorites of the year, of what not knowing what you're going to get and get that consistent performance from him, and how great he is for us and this team. See what happens with Stroh. Hopefully he's back, and the version that we got early on and what he's capable of, we all know and seen. So like, start listing off a bunch of names. It feels really deep, and it feels very, really good. But we also ended the year last year with some guys pitching really well and didn't have great years this year. So like, all those things are real, and we got to come in with the mindset of we've got to get better, and we got to go prove it all over again, and more.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you.